Hey Pete, you ready to go?
You bet, Megan. It looks like we're up to our ears in hot water.
Well, of course we are. It's a great subject to focus on to save energy.
Today on PowerHouse, we'll talk about the benefits of a smart water heater.
We'll also talk about a heat pump water heater.
And we'll review maintenance and monitoring tips for your current water heater, as well as discuss how a wastewater heat recovery unit can benefit your water heating efforts.
Come on in, the water's fine, on this week's PowerHouse.
Water heaters are a big purchase. As with any big investment, we want to take care of it. By paying attention to some basic maintenance issues, you can ensure your investment brings you dependable hot water for years to come. Corey Ackerman with Ackerman Plumbing is just the right guy with the tips and tricks that fit the bill. Corey, thanks for having us in today.
Happy to be here.
Everyone wants to have hot water at their tap the most energy efficient way possible. What can homeowners do to help that happen?
Yeah, Pete, I'm glad you asked. First off, basic efficiency in the home with the plumbing system comes with basic maintenance of fixtures, faucets, making sure you're not wasting water, hot water through your faucets, through your showers, or any other fixture. So just making sure that everything is up to par and not leaking with that. That's step one. Step two, if a homeowner is so inclined, would be look at low flow or energy saving shower heads or fixtures. And then a third thing they could do is look at like tankless options or hybrid electric water heaters.
So really some basic maintenance issues, Corey, that we're talking about here to pay attention to. Again, that drippy faucet, don't let it happen.
Absolutely, yeah. Anytime you have drippy faucet, drippy showers, take care of them. That's a big energy waster right there. So.
Soft water versus hard water and the issue with hot water heaters. Talk about that.
So soft water is great to have. Soft water leaves your skin feeling a little smoother. Hard water is just that. It has hard minerals in it that your water softener then replaces with sodium. And in certain cases, that sodium can break down your anode rod down a little faster than if it's straight hard water.
Okay, so anode rods and their importance. Talk to us. First, anode rod, what is it?
Sure, absolutely. Pete, an anode rod is in every tank type water heater, and it is a sacrificial rod that is a weaker metal than your tank lining. Your tank is steel on most tank type water heaters. And basically this one that they come stock with is magnesium. So the impurities in your water will attack and eat your anode rod before it'll attack the tank lining, if that makes sense. So here's some quick examples of what the water does to your anode rod over time. This one here had been in for some time, and this one here we would recommend be replaced.
And are there, Corey, different types of anode rods?
There is. So there is the magnesium rod that comes with most tank type water heaters.
That's an example of that.
That's an example of that. And then there's also an aluminum rod. Now a third option out there is an electric plug-in model, which is not supposed to need to be replaced. And the reason you would use an aluminum over a magnesium would be on different compositions of water.
Okay.
Sometimes the water will react with your magnesium rods and create some smells, to whereas your aluminum takes care of that.
Corey, is that something, I leave to the professionals, or can I make that change?
I would suggest leaving it to the professionals, but if you're handy, sure. Some of them can be a little trickier than others to change. Electric ones are a little tougher than gas. But if it is something you are going to attempt on your own, you're going to want to shut your water off to the water heater and turn off the power supply or the gas, drain it down a little bit, and then take it out.
Okay, let's talk about maintenance for our water heater.
Yeah.
What can there's top things to do with that?
Well, number one, I would say is, in fact, the anode rod. Check and change that when necessary. The manufacturer also suggests that you make sure that the temperature pressure relief valve is operational, which on electric is on top generally. And then we recommend that you flush them as well, flush them yearly. So sediment will build up in the tank, and by hooking a hose to the bottom, again, shutting off the power source, whether it be gas or electric, and flushing water through that will get rid of the buildup in the sediment in the base of the.
And you said annually, and is that something the homeowner can do?
Homeowner can do that. Just make sure that that you do shut the power or the gas off before flushing it.
How about temperature? Do I need to worry about that? Can that be an issue?
It can. Keeping it right around that 120 mark is
Okay.
is safe practice. I know some people like their water a little hotter, but that 120 is a pretty safe practice.
Are there signs that I look for that I know, boy, my water heater's starting to fail me?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, most obvious would be if water all over the floor.
Okay.
In which case you need to get that replaced ASAP. Some other signs would be some leaking down the face of it on an electric water heater through the elements. Any noise that might be a little different than you're used to hearing. With electric water heaters, maybe some louder hissing sounds. With gas water heaters, it would be popping sounds. Fluctuation in temperature, that could be another sign as well.
How about water color? Is there a sign there at all that?
Yeah, if you've got rusty water coming through, then that's an issue. If you've got rusty water coming through or your water all of a sudden goes cold, you may want to go look at your water heater in the basement.
So I need a new water heater again. Is this one I go to the professionals, Corey, I go to Ackerman Plumbing to take care of this?
Well, of course, that's what we'd suggest. Homeowners, if you're handy, can try to tackle it, but there is some safety issues that I would definitely recommend go to the professionals, whether it be us or somebody else.
And also, I don't want water all over,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe best to leave that to the professionals.
That's what I would suggest, yes.
Water heaters, can you give us a ballpark if I need a new water heater like this?
Sure. A ballpark for a standard tank type water heater, gas and electric, would start between $1,400 to $2,000 for a standard tank type. If you're going into your geothermal hybrids to tankless, probably between that $4,000 and $5,000 mark. So a little more of an investment.
Okay. So again, in that ballpark.
Yep.
But again, as you talk about, if we do some basic maintenance, we can help them last a little longer.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
And the anode rod, getting that
starts with the anode rod and flushing the water heater annually.
Corey, it's great information you provided with us, and it's good to know that there is some maintenance that we can take care of that can extend our water heaters and their lives. So thanks for that.
Absolutely.
And if you'd like more information about energy saving ideas and tips, visit our website at powerhousetv.com.
The best temp for your water heater? 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Although some manufacturers set water heater thermostats at 140 degrees, most households only require them to be set at 120 degrees, which also slows mineral buildup and corrosion in your water heater and pipes. Your options for water heating include one that may not be the first to come to mind. It's a heat pump water heater. Now, when most of us think of heat pumps, we think of heating and cooling our homes, but they can also heat water as well. Tom Rutkowski from E&J Geothermal is going to tell us all the details. Hi, Tom. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
What is a heat pump water heater?
So it's an electric-based heat pump that utilizes a small compressor section on top instead of a traditional element down below here to heat your domestic hot water. And it does so in a much more efficient manner.
Explain to us how it works.
Sure. So the heat pump section is located up here. There's a compressor and a small coil, and then a fan. It draws the ambient air from that space around the water heater through a filter and then down through that coil where it extracts the heat out of the air and then rejects cold air out the back. So in a lot of ways, it works just like an air source heat pump for your house, where we're taking that heat out of the air, moving it through a refrigerant system, and then rejecting the cold air out the back.
And why is it such a good option?
It's a lot more efficient, right? So a normal water heater, gas water heater, would be anywhere from 0.6 to 0.67 for an EF rating, and that's the efficiency rating for the water heater, or to say 60 to 67% efficient. An electric water heater is anywhere from 0.9 to 0.92. These heat pump water heaters are anywhere from 2.2 all the way up to 3.3. So it's 330% efficient compared to a normal water heater.
Wow. Is this good for every circumstance, or are there certain considerations that we need to take into account?
So like any installation, there are certain things you want to think about when you're looking at an installation. The first one being power. It needs a 2-pole 30 amp circuit to power up the unit. If it's a normal electric water heater, chances are you already have that circuit there, and it's a matter of just taking it out and putting it right back in. If it's gas, well, then we have to look at how we're going to run power over to that water heater. So in this case, with a panel right next to it, it's not such a big deal, but if we're coming from across the house, that's a consideration you're going to want to take into mind. Also, you want to look at the ambient space around that heat pump. Because we're extracting that heat out of the air, we want to make sure that we're in an area that has that heat available. So if, for instance, we're putting it in a small closet underneath the stairs, something like that, we want to make sure that it's well ventilated, and that heat is able to come back and then be extracted to go into your domestic hot water.
Well, once a homeowner is committed to purchasing something like this, you have any tips you'd like to advise them on?
Yeah, do your homework. Look for people that have been putting them in. You're going to want to look at the manufacturers and the models in particular on how well they hold up for water quality, and then look at warranties. It's a big investment. You want to make sure that what you're putting in is going to be covered for a good time, and make sure it's going to be a good product for you.
And this is not new technology, right?
No, this has been out for over 20 years now. I'm going to say 2005 to 2010 range. It's definitely gaining more popularity now as energy efficiency is starting to become more prevalent, but you're definitely not the guinea pig. This has been out for a long time.
Okay, walk us through the installation process, if you would.
Sure. So in this particular one here, you've got your cold water in, your hot water out, just like any water heater. Sometimes you'll see flex connections from the top of the water heater to the copper or PEX piping up above. We've got our 2-pole 30-amp circuit providing the power to it. And then on the water heater itself, again, we have the upper and lower element, thermostat, and then the control. Now on this control, on this particular model, it's got 4 different settings. There's a heat pump only, where it only utilizes this compressor section and not the
Just the exchange element.
Yep, and that's going to be your most efficient. The one below that is hybrid, so it's going to run the compressor section as much as it can, but it'll kick in the elements if you're in a high demand situation. If you've got a bunch of showers going, something where you're drawing a lot of hot water, it'll automatically kick in the elements as needed. The next one's going to be your electric only, so it's only utilizing the elements. That'd be if this section goes down for some reason and you're not able to run the compressor section, you'll still have hot water with the elements.
The same as you would with a traditional water heater.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then there'll be a vacation mode. So if you guys are heading out of town, you set for how long. When you come back, it'll automatically ramp back up and you're back up and running.
Now, what is the cost of not only the unit, but also the installation?
Sure. So if it's a normal change out where the power is already there, it's going to be anywhere from $3,000 to $3,500, pretty average. If we have to run power to it, where we're taking out a gas water heater and running a new circuit, then it just depends on that wiring cost. Again, if we're right next to it with the main panel right there, it might not be too bad. But if we have to run a circuit from the opposite end of the house through a finished ceiling, then your electric cost might be a little higher for the wiring.
Well, the savings are significant. When can I, as a homeowner, expect to start seeing that savings?
Almost immediately. The next time you see your bill, you should start seeing those savings. A normal household sees about a $15 to $20 a month savings if they're able to operate it on that compressor section mostly. And then there's a lot of tax incentives and rebates available. Anyone that's looking to put one of these in, I highly recommend they talk with their tax professional, their salesperson, to learn about the applicability of any of those tax credits and incentives.
Well, thank you, Tom, for all these details. It's really helpful.
Not a problem.
If you'd like to learn more about options for heating water in your PowerHouse, go to our website, powerhousetv.com.
It's estimated that the average hot water usage per person per day in the U.S. is 15.8 gallons. Did you know that water heaters are typically the second highest source of energy usage in your home? They generally account for 12 to 18% of your overall energy dollars. Dustin Engerer from Hanna Plumbing and Heating has joined us to talk about the benefits of a smart water heater. Dustin, thanks for joining us. Homeowners have several choices when it comes to water heaters. What are the most common?
I'd say most houses around here, you're gonna see one of two types. It's generally a tank type, whether it be gas-fired or electric, or tankless style that heats water instantaneously.
We have the traditional conventional water heater versus a smart water heater. Talk to us about the differences there.
Main difference is really how it heats water and stores water, if it stores water at all. A tank style has a set volume of water, 40, 50 gallons, 75, even bigger, but it's a set amount of water that it heats, via electricity or a burner. Whereas a tankless style has a more efficient heat exchanger and heats water instantaneously as it passes through. So it doesn't store any hot water at all, so it doesn't have to keep a volume of water warm all the time.
Let's go into a little more depth in terms of the real benefits, the major benefits of a smart water heater.
It's the efficiency. It's not having to keep that volume of water hot all the time. It's having it on demand. A lot of newer tankless water heaters have Wi-Fi capabilities, apps. You can, watch them on. You can measure their performance as they're going. You can see the amount of gas, electricity you're using, the volume of water you're using. You can cycle them down at different times if need be. You can control them remotely if need be. It's just an efficiency thing, and get a better idea of what's going on in your water heater without having to be there in front of it.
That technology is really amazing when you think about it. I know you were showing on your, you got an app on the phone, right?
Yeah, I can watch the performance of a water heater from anywhere. Once it's synced to Wi-Fi, you can bring it up wherever you're at, see what's going on. You could control it if need be. And that's not completely set to tankless water heaters. There's add-on modules depending on the compatibility of your water heater. Let's say you got a water heater that's, good condition, functioning fine, but you want a little more control. Some water heaters have the capability to have an add-on module like that, and you can monitor it the same way.
Dustin, talk to us about that add-on module and how that might work.
The one I put on, just here, it was a real plug and play. Took about 5 minutes. You got to go through settings to enable it. And once it's enabled, it's just a simple download of an app. And it syncs to your home Wi-Fi, and there it is. It's right there. It was a real 10-minute job once you read the instructions, knew what you were doing, and you just have that much more control at your fingertips. I mean, I would say most, conventional tank style water heaters, they don't really have any kind of control like that at all. In that sense, they're a lot simpler. So if that was something you're wanting, you'd probably be looking at an upgrade. I mean, there are hybrid tank systems that are computer controlled, but generally you'd be looking at switching to a tankless style that has those capabilities.
How does a homeowner know when it's time to upgrade on a water heater?
Well, performance would be coming through, obviously a leak, the tank styles will eventually, depending on location, water quality, will eventually rot out. That's generally the failures you see. And at that point, it's the time to kind of consider your home's needs, what you need for hot water and whatever, and that might be the time that, an upgrade to a tankless style and to do the work to have that in there might be the right choice. You're already needing a replacement, maybe it's time to upgrade if you want those added controls and benefits of a tankless.
The installation of a water heater, is it best to leave to a professional like yourself?
I would definitely do that. You're dealing with water damage, the potential of that, and you're dealing with natural gas and or electricity. And with any of those arises, if you try it on your own, you're kind of left to your own devices, whereas professionals, we know what we're doing. We do this every day. We know how to do things safe, and we know how to keep your house safe and intact. So I think in the end, professional installations pays for itself.
We're always interested on PowerHouse when we're talking about adding maybe a tankless water heater. Can you give us kind of a ballpark range, just kind of ballpark minimum maybe to maximum?
I would say, it's going to depend on your location, where you're at, the type of water heater, everything. But generally speaking, I'd say maybe 2 to 2.5 times the cost of a conventional tank style water heater when you're doing the retrofit. And then let's say down the road, 20 years down the road, you wanted to swap out. Well, a lot of that retrofit work would already be done. So it might be a little less than that, but I would say to budget for 2 to 2.5 times a conventional water heater.
Are you seeing more tankless water heaters coming in?
Yeah, as time goes on, maybe the way people are, we're getting more open to tech and letting the tech take, some of the conveniences to the next level. And I would say as time goes on, I see more and more of them.
Well, Dustin, you've given us a lot of great information regarding water heaters. Thanks for sharing that with us. And if you'd like to learn more about water heating efficiency, go to our website at powerhousetv.com and alliantenergy.com.
The first automatic storage tank type gas water heater was invented around 1889 by a Norwegian mechanical engineer who immigrated to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. His name was Edwin Rood, and Rood Manufacturing Company is still in existence today. We've learned a lot about ways to add efficiency to our water heating efforts, and now we can add one more: wastewater heat recovery.
Instead of letting hot water just escape down the drain, we can harness its residual heat with this, a wastewater heat recovery unit. It captures hot, warm wastewater before it drains out of the house and extracts residual heat out of it to warm the next tank or draw of water family members will use.
Now, this water can be captured from bathing or washing clothes or using the dishwasher. Now, this works well with all types of water heaters, but it works especially well with on-demand and solar water heaters, as well as units that have storage capacity to take advantage of bigger water dumps, like from a dishwasher.
Here's how it recovers the heat that would otherwise escape. As warm water flows down the waste drain, incoming cold water flows through the spiral copper tube wrapped tightly around the copper section of the waste drain. This preheats the incoming cold water that goes to the water heater or fixture, such as a shower. Now, the water streams never meet.
This is a great add-on to new construction, but it also fits well into a remodel, or if you simply want to upgrade your water heater. Prices range from about $500 to $1,000. The installation is fairly simple, but you'll need a qualified plumbing or heating contractor to do all the work. They'll cut part of the drain line out and replace it with this unit, and then run the cold water into the bottom of the unit, and then the tempered water will be sent back to your water tank. It'll earn back its cost for anybody remaining in their current home for the next 5 to 10 years. And it's a great strategy for anybody wanting to save money on water heating and boost their energy conservation efforts.
That's right, Megan. It's definitely an interesting option to consider. To find out more about energy saving and conservation strategies for your PowerHouse, visit PowerHouseTV.com and AlliantEnergy.com. Megan, are you soaking in the warmth of potential energy savings?
I totally am, Pete. We presented some great smart options for your water heating needs today.
We showed you an efficient heat pump water heater.
We reviewed key tips to keep your water heater in good working order.
And we learned the basics of wastewater heat recovery.
We rely on hot water to make our lives better every day. Keeping it energy efficient is a great way to improve your PowerHouse.